Welcome to the Sci-Fi Center, the place to be, where comic books and wrestling collide magically. Movies, TV shows, and pop culture we share. Get ready to rock, we're here to take you there. From superheroes to aliens in outer space, we've got the latest news and reviews in our embrace. Turn on your screen, let the neon lights glow. We'll take you back to the 80s. Let's rock and roll. Sci-Fi Center, where the legends come alive. Get ready to geek out, let your imagination fly. We're diving into the past with a touch of modern flair. Sci-Fi Center, the ultimate pop culture lair. Calm down and get your teeth a gift at the Sci-Fi Center. We got almost everything a geek could want at the Sci-Fi Center. You name it, we got it. Star Trek, Star Wars, Marvel, DC, and everything in between at the Sci-Fi
Welcome back, and with a much better movie, an actual watchable movie, 1980s Flash Gordon. This was one of the very first movies I saw in the movie theaters, and it was my first introduction to Queen. I didn't know who or what Queen was until I heard the opening soundtrack to Flash Gordon, and they do the entire soundtrack. This would be one of two that they would do during the decades, the other one being 1986's Highlander. Other than like the Barge and Kenny Loggins, I think they were the only band that have multiple soundtrack hits during that era. The Barge did it with Short Circuit and The Last Dragon. Kenny Loggins did it with Caddyshack twice, and then he did it with Top Gun. So Queen, like I said, this was my introduction to Queen, and I'm going to go ahead and bring in the person who requested this one. One of my supporters, Clint. How are you doing, Clint?
I'm doing well.
Couldn't find a Flash Gordon duck, huh?
No Flash Gordon duck to be found.
All right. So, hello, Aaron. I sent you a link. It should be in your. Let me make sure it got sent because last time we had some issues. Let's see.
Where's your boy Brad?
Oh, he probably bailed because we're not doing a stupid movie. But who knows? He'll probably be in. All right, guys. I have pinned the link, the free link to Internet Archive to the top of this chat. That's where you can watch it from. And here's my favorite koala. So we're gonna just go ahead and get started because I got another stream after this, our replacement stream for last night. So let me go ahead and just get going. All right, 3, 2.
Have you seen this before, Aaron?
Have I seen it before? Yeah.
Oh wow, yeah.
Many years ago.
And it opens up with the late great Max von Sydow.
The old Universal
Yep.
opening.
And then just imagine sitting in a theater and this bass hits like that. And the drums, Brian May's
Earthquake.
guitars. Yep. Probably the greatest opening theme song to this day.
Flash Gordon's voice was dubbed over by a voice actor almost 99% of the movie. With stock footage.
And these opening shots are from the actual Flash Gordon comic books that they used.
Oh, so that it wasn't. It was like a comic book before.
Oh yeah. Decades before, in the 30s. It was actually done in movies by Buster Crabbe back in the 30s as well.
Like a serial, right?
Mm-hmm. Timothy Dalton's in this movie.
Yeah, he went on to do things, and
Yep.
Max von did things, but the rest of them, not so much.
Yeah, but I met Sam Jones last year. He makes a lot of money just showing up as Flash Gordon.
Oh,
Good
good
on
for
him.
him. He
This
got
is the
pissed.
song that turned me off, or turned me on the Queen forever.
Yeah, Sam Jones got pissed off at the producer and wouldn't come back and do the reshoots and all that stuff. So they just had a guy dub his voice. Yeah, those guys dueling with swords, that's very 1930s.
This was considered high end back then. This is Dino De Laurentiis didn't do low budget stuff. This is like high end for 1980. Man, this movie's 45 years old. Oh my goodness. And I saw this in the movies.
So did I.
I'll be right back. I want to show you guys something.
I was probably 9 years old when it came out.
So the last Comic Con I was at, which is in last San Diego, I got this. I passed on it the year before because he does charge quite a bit for his autographs. But with everybody dropping dead these days, he's really young for but he doesn't. You can clearly see that it's been an issue lately. So there it is,
No way.
Flash Gordon. Yep.
You should be
And
putting that into a frame.
I had a frame, but the frame busted.
Oh,
So yeah, the frame broke and it actually scratched it right there.
uh,
And the frame broke and it fell. You can kind of see right there, but the signature is fine. As long as the signature is fine on these things, you're good.
cool.
Let me show you this. Hold on. Let me see Facebook.
Oh, the acting in this movie is wonderful. It's one of the few movies where the script is bad, the dialogue is bad, and the acting is bad, but it's a great movie.
No smoking, bus seatbelt. So that would have been around the time that they decided to put the law in not smoking on aircraft.
There's me just before I got that signed. And he's a Marine. I was in the Army, so he's a Marine. He takes that Marine stool. If you look behind him, that's an actual U.S. Marine stool that he takes with him everywhere. It's hilarious. There you go. That would suck. Be up in the air and some shit like that goes down. That would suck.
Me?
That would suck too.
What would suck?
The being up in 30,000 feet in the air and all that red cloud coming and then fire and stuff coming down, setting you on fire.
That's like an alien abduction in midair.
I'm gonna grab onto you now that I know you were stalking me.
Hey, it's Pat Gordon, man. Be like Tom Brady stalking you, according to what they compared to. Right.
Hey, it's Brad, the only person here who hasn't seen this movie.
But I have heard the song.
Don't believe, William. This is a terrible, terrible movie, but it's one of the best terrible movies ever.
But I mean, I don't know. Can it ever? We talk about good, bad movies. Can anything ever compare to The Room?
The what?
The Room.
Never seen it.
Oh, we got to change that,
Do
man.
not waste your time. Do not
Oh,
waste
we got
your
to fix
time.
that. We just did Ace Ventura. We got to fix that.
No, we're
pronto.
done. That movie's a waste. That movie was a waste of time for the people who made it, and that's not a joke.
Well, we at least got to see the Disaster Artist, which is about the making of The
No,
Room.
it's even dumber.
And by the way, guys, if I look a little bit weird right now, my lamp right here next to my computer, there's some this lamp is like burnt out or something. I mean, like not just the light bulb, but like the lamp isn't working. So I had to move another desk lamp over here, so it's right next to my computer. So
You need to change the oil in your lamp.
well, that's why I look like I got like a little sun right next to my head right there.
Someday you'll upgrade to real electric lamps.
When I got my ceiling fan, it's got the light in it. In fact, let me go ahead and switch to that real quick. Hold on. There we go. A little bit more naturalistic lighting now.
I'm doing all right. Are you live? We're doing a watch party. You're good. You can ask me anything. I know I'm in the middle of the 14th story. Which one? No, this is just highlight release the news stuff that's up on the front of my wall. Are you looking for anything in particular? What is it?
Were you here, Brad, when I told you that Flash Gordon's voice is a dub over?
No, I don't think it was on for that.
Yeah. Sam Jones got pissed off at the producer or director, one of the two, and wouldn't come back to do the voiceovers for it. So they did entirely his voice with someone else.
Yeah, that's a pissing contest.
I like how they're both wearing red and white.
And the word Flash on his chest, so you don't forget who's the hero.
Huh.
I got that number one.
I know that it's like definitely not a William question, but did either of you see the episode of The Flash where they finally played the Flash Gordon like Queen song? Where he's
Yeah,
like
I did.
Yeah, and I remember I was like half and half on that where it's like, oh, this is so ridiculous, but the other half like, why did it take so long? It's like it's ridiculous, but it's like, come on, like
That one right there. It's number one.
I always wanted to put the Flash Gordon theme or like see somebody like on YouTube put the Flash Gordon theme to when Barry like when the mother boxes explode and Barry like runs back a second in time to project a cyborg into the mother box. That was that
would be awesome.
Yeah, in fact, I'm gonna go look on YouTube real quick, see if anyone's done that yet.
Did you ever watch that movie Ted?
No, I don't think I have. No.
Oh, because the actor pretty much plays himself.
Okay.
And Ted actually talks about Flash Gordon and everything.
Oh, cool. Okay, I found one like this, but it's not that part. It's kind of like a montage of Flash scenes, and it's got Justice League footage in it. So screw that.
Oh God, you.
Oh no, I only accept it from the real movie.
Yeah.
The song "When the Credits Roll" is amazing too by Queen.
That's it. Speaking of Queen, because I just had when I had my black belt test. I mean, not the first time I've done that, obviously, but my Tong Sudo black belt test. We pick an intro song when like the whole team comes out on the mat, and everybody's testing, and I suggested "Princess of the Universe" by Queen. And I guess everybody liked that because I put that suggestion out there where you're prepping for the test, and they voted on it. They all went with that. So that's the intro theme we all came out there with was "Princess of the Universe."
Very pomp and ceremony.
Yeah. Speaking of the Flash / the Flash, the one question I was thinking about this the other day, we've never gotten an answer to with the theatrical version is this is one of the few things nobody's touched upon is what was with like the goofy like running style that Flash has in the theatrical version. Nobody in all of this, we have never gotten an answer for what that was all about. I want an answer for that.
What, when he went past the speed of light or something?
I'm talking, and like in the theatrical kind of Justice League, Flash, he run. I mean, he literally runs like this. He has this really strange sort of way of running, like in the theatrical version, and it's like
We're talking the movies, right? The Flash.
Yeah. Well, and this specifically the theatrical version of Justice League from 2017. In all of
Oh,
the,
okay. I don't know that. So.
yeah, well, nobody knows that. It's like nobody. That's one of the few things in all of this we have never gotten any kind of answer to. I might pitch on that. It's like this is the one of the few remaining questions from like the theatrical cut to the Snyder cut. It's like what was the goofy way Flash, or like what did they how did whose idea was that, and why did anyone think it was a good idea to like have him like run like that? And I'm only again I'm only thinking that because again like this pulled up this Flash Gordon Flash music video that has footage from both versions.
This movie so wanted to be Star Wars.
Well, Star Wars like want to be Flash Gordon? I mean, wasn't that the whole kind of genesis of Star Wars? Is that Lucas
Well, technically, Flash Gordon was way before Star Wars, but this movie wanted to be Star Wars.
Yeah, so that's the irony of it. Is like Star Wars, set kind of overtook Flash Gordon, and then Flash Gordon was trying to imitate Star Wars.
If you change your mind, as long as you let me know before, like,
And this is an 80 when this came out, right? No, we lost Aaron. No, she got back in a minute.
Yeah, 1980.
Yeah, it's before I was born.
I was a little stupid punk kid when this came out.
And I'm reading from the Wikipedia page. Flash Gordon has since become a cult classic with fans of science fiction and fantasy. It is a favorite of directors Edgar Wright and Taika Waititi. Yeah, that kind of shows because if you watch Thor Ragnarok, I always kind of said that that's really what Thor Ragnarok is. It feels like Flash Gordon with Marvel characters.
Actually, technically, all this is mythology.
Anyway, this came out like really again not very long after Star Wars, so and of course
3 years.
It was because Lucas wanted to do that's what he initially wanted to do was Flash Gordon. He couldn't do that, so he said, okay, I'll create my own version of that. And so that's the ultimate irony. Now Flash Gordon's trying to ride this the coattails of the thing that was inspired by it. Did you see this theatrically when it came out?
Yep. When I was a little kid.
Yeah. William, he's doing with the customers asking if he'd seen it because he would have been just old enough to have seen it in theaters.
This film is very European.
Yeah, it was Dio De Laurentiis, so definitely shows. Yeah, William, did you see this theatrically when it was released? Okay, he's got a customer.
The guy who plays the head Hawkman dude, his name's Brian Blessed, I believe, and he's an amazing guy in real life.
Oh. Did you got to meet him?
No, I didn't get to meet him, but I read about him, and he's
I
like,
have you down for Wednesday. Thursday. I'm sorry. Movie starts at 3, so standard movie time. You don't have to worry about a lot of the stuff that we have to deal with when we're doing someone else's screening. Yeah, it's just going to be me. You'll see me there, and I'll check you in, and we start the movies, and hopefully everybody gets seated, so we should be good.
The movie starts at 3 or arrive at 3.
I would say arrive a little bit before. Yeah, because you're going to have previews. We have the option to skip the previews, so all that stuff. It's our private screening. And then what I'm going to do is, as soon as that movie's over, they're going to show another screening of Superman. So we're going to come back here, and I'm going to do the raffles and the giveaway for posters, pins, comics, and stuff like that. And I got some stuff coming. We may have some T-shirts. So
the 10th.
Yeah,
Thursday the 10th.
Thursday's the 10th, 3 p.m. Like I said, if you need any more, just email me, text me, or message me through all the. Like I said, we got 84 seats right now. We're starting to creep up on it. So. What's up?
Megan?
Yeah, take one, please.
You're right, though. Like a lot of this green screen and stuff, like even for the early '80s, it's pretty bad effects.
they so wanted that guy in the gold mask to be Darth Vader.
The guy in the gold mask looks like he's from Squid Game.
Yeah, William I was asking a minute ago. Did you see this theatrically when it was released?
Yes.
Yeah,
opening weekend.
Oh man, that was
do it. Yeah, I saw this opening weekend.
So where would you rate this as far as like as far as it's like good or bad opening weekends or like you say like of that era for you? Because you talked about like
I was 6, so I mean, I really didn't understand any of that stuff till years and years later. I know the theater that I saw it was packed. I remember that.
Well, again, like the only thing you really had to compare it to, like at that time, really was Star Wars.
Yeah, kind of, I guess. I was, like I said, I actually saw this before I saw Star Wars. Because I was, like I said, I was 3 when Star Wars came out. I mean, I would see it a bunch of times, obviously, but.
And it was like what was the one that killed you that I said I saw? What did I say? I saw Spaceballs before Star Wars.
Yeah, which is blasphemy. Even if that's the truth, you should never say that out loud. Okay, so this was a big budget movie, 20 to 27 million, but it also made 46 million.
Yeah.
And that was only being released in 2 countries. This was not a global released movie. It was only released in 2 countries.
So that's pretty good for the time.
Yeah, for December of 1980 to only be released in 2, no China release, nothing about that. This
well, why? Maybe like I don't think anything was over here was getting much of a China release at that time.
Let me guess. The only countries that show this is America and the UK.
Yep.
Wow.
Yeah, so for that time, 46.5 million.
Yeah.
That's
If you
pretty
made
good.
twice your budget, because there was no real ad budget back then. There wasn't really, you had previews and you had some commercials, but you didn't really have big ad campaigns back in 45 years ago. So that was generally whatever you see as a budget, that's what it got spent. I think Queen was the most expensive thing about this movie.
Yeah. And
Um,
Queen, they kind of made a little like a second career in the 80s of like doing theme songs for like sci-fi. Like they did this and they did Highlander,
yeah, they did too.
both of which bombed and both of which became cult
No,
hits.
this didn't bomb. This didn't bomb.
Okay. Oh yeah. Well, Highlander. People tend to
Highlander bombed.
the first time. I mean, it became a success of, over time, but like theatrically, it didn't do well.
Queen wrote this in the middle of their tour that they were touring at the time.
Oh yeah, this is like how long was this before Freddie Mercury was diagnosed with AIDS?
He would find out, I think, in 1982, 1983.
So this was So he might have had AIDS and not been aware of it when
he doesn't know when he contracted it. So, and third weekend it was average grosses fell. So it only fell 50% its second week, which is even by any standards good. It stayed on the screens till fourth weekend, and then they pulled it.
Huh.
Then it got an Italian release afterwards, and because there were two Italian stars in there, so this was a win for them back in the day.
It's a bit rude that they didn't put it on in Australia.
Yeah.
Or even Canada.
Yeah. What is there any particular reason why they didn't release it anywhere but the U.S. and the U.K.?
The Universal didn't have distribution deals in those companies and it was movies like that in general were just not, your first market were the English speaking countries first, and then afterwards, it did get released in Australia, but much later on, because the way distribution was set up, it wasn't like it is now, unless it was like a Star Wars or a Godfather or something like that.
All right, that's right. We don't speak English in the show.
No,
right?
what I mean was speaking the first two, even Star Wars, the first two markets and for Star Wars were England, the UK, and America.
That's just because you guys dubbed our
Mad Max, yeah.
So
God, that was so ridiculous.
They didn't see us as an English-speaking country.
The reason they dub Oasis. Oasis is speaking English, but no one can understand them. So there you go.
Yeah, no, now that we've heard from the original Mad Max, we heard was it like 24 years ago, whatever it was, when it was put on release without the dub stateside, and I've heard the you comparing the dub version and the original audio tracks, there's nobody there. There's no incoherence at all, and there's no they just spent a lot of money and a lot of effort on that. It just was all for no. I just don't understand what the point of that was. Or it's not a language barrier. It's at worst an accent barrier, but this was no accent barrier whatsoever. There's nobody who you can't understand what they're saying in the original Mad Max.
We will talk about Black Sabbath later on tonight, guys. So I will.
Are we doing the main show too?
Yeah.
All right. Streamed a lot today.
Yeah, because my schedule is going to be that way for the next 3 weeks because everything is jumbled up because of Superman.
Yeah, as long as Flash has got a football, he can defeat all of them.
Until he gets hit on the head.
They also did. There was I guess it was a parody. This came out a few years earlier. I remember seeing this.
Flesh Gordon.
Yeah, I saw that when I was a kid in Blockbuster one time. And then they had a sequel called Flesh Gordon 2, and the Guardians of the Universe or something. And that makes it sound like a porn movie, but I don't think it is. I haven't seen it.
No,
But,
it's not. It's not a porn. It's dumb, but
well, just I mean, because when you do like a spoof, you have to like create a title that's sort of like somewhat evocative in a comedic way of the original. So that's why you have like Spaceballs. That's why you have like Scary Movie, even though it sucks. That's I think like Flesh Gordon. I guess that's the best. That was the first thing that came to mind for them, probably. You ever wanna?
it's just a color in this movie. It was just, and it was
Yeah.
all filmed on a soundstage. This is all done inside for the most part. All the painting they did.
I wonder if Universal will ever make a remake of this.
Do like a modern version of Flash Gordon.
Yeah.
I could.
Who knows?
Well, I mean, it is kind of like the property itself was. It's kind of like it's almost like Tarzan or the Rocketeer or Dick Tracy, where it's like its popularity is sort of really centralized in like like the 30s to the 50s. So although again this is successful in the 80s, but even that's like pretty.
You'd have to have the right circumstances, the right actor, the right actress. If you got the right stars to be in it, you can do this movie again. It's just you just have everything has to fall in place. You just can't do it for the sake. You have to have everything.
Well, that means Aaron. That means they got to call up Brent Foster. We can't make it. We can't make Flash Gordon happen today without Brent Foster.
Yeah, you can. It'd probably be somebody people actually knew who they were. No offense, Brent Foster, but I've never heard of the person outside of you two, so I don't think that's going to do it.
No, actually, it's like I could. I don't know though, because when it comes to like superhero roles, and he's kind of falls into that category. But I mean, sometimes they'll go with an unknown. Sometimes they'll go with someone who's a little more established. So
if you're gonna get somebody to fund this and spend money on it, they're not gonna do an unknown. They're gonna want to. I mean,
literally, like every in my life, and even like every in my lifetime, everybody who's played Superman in live action, I've discovered their existence by the news.
Flash Gordon's not Superman.
Superman.
You're talking about a globally known 80, the oldest superhero out. You can generally get away with it with something like that. I don't think you could do it with Flash Gordon. Flash Gordon's not that kind of IP that has that built into it.
And if they did it today, I mean, I could see it being a little bit like when like Alec Baldwin did The Shadow in '94.
Yeah,
because he was established, but even then, it's still tanked.
Yeah, because like I said, if you're gonna do something like that in this era, you'd have to get like a Timothy Chalamet or somebody that is,
Yeah, actually, now that I think about it, it's like I could see, because like Clint said, this was trying to ride the wave of Star Wars when it came out. I could see that some executive saying like, hey, let's try like Flash Gordon, that's like vaguely akin to Dune. Let's maybe we revive that and pull in the Dune audience from that.
You could do it. You could do a Denis Villeneuve. I mean, you could do it but it would have to be whoever's involved in the project is going to have to be top tier for a studio to be like, okay, we're going to give you the money to do this.
You know who will be like the perfect Flash Gordon?
Who's that?
Glenn Powell.
I could. Yeah, he
Glenn Powell could work. Glenn Powell, he'd be actually perfect if you were going to do it.
It's like the first thing I can remember seeing him in, and William's going to love this. He's like one of those guys in the stock exchange, and he's the guy who tells Bane in The Dark Knight Rises, "There's no money for you here to steal." And he says, "Why are you guys here?" Then he slams his head in the desk. That was Glenn Powell before he broke out.
I struggle to remember Dark Knight Rises, to be honest with you, because it was just such a forgettable movie. I don't care who's in it.
It even kind of like identified. I remember reading this on there.
Here's the
Yeah.
thing: if I found the Academy Award winners' performances in Dark Knight Rises unremarkable, what's the shot of me remembering Glenn Powell was in that movie?
Where is this? Where is? Because I remember reading this part.
Probably zero.
Oh yeah, here it is. This is from the Dark Knight Rises Wikipedia. Under the cast section, Glenn Powell makes a pre-fame appearance as a stock exchange trader who gets knocked out by Bane. So again, that's what he's paying his dues in that because he's there. He has one line, he gets knocked out. So that's when when he was climbing up the ladder. And then 2 years later, he's in Expendables 3.
Yeah, so 2 movies that I will probably not watch again with him in it. So I'm glad he actually moved up in the world.
Yeah, he got there. He got the Top Gun Maverick, and then he's the tornado whisperer and Twisters. He really wants to do. I actually did a feature on this for comic book a couple months ago. His kind of the one he really wants to get off the ground is doing Captain Planet. He's been trying to do that for a while.
Yeah.
Pass.
You don't think that could work in live action? Because
I don't, but then again, people go see stupid shit all the time, so I can't speak for the rest of the pop. We just watched a dumbass movie that made more money than they ever had any business watching for today. So I can't predict the stupid shit people do. So no, maybe who knows?
There's been a lot of fan-made projects of a live-action Captain Planet, and it looks pretty good.
Yeah, well,
I think
there's
I
that
think
one.
they'll be able to do it.
Yeah, there's like the Funny or Die videos with Don Cheadle as Captain Planet stuff. Yeah. And we actually just played the trailer with Glenn Powell. His next big thing coming up is Running Man.
Yeah, I got tagged by that.
Yeah,
showing that.
Yeah, it is what it is. I'm looking forward to that. And again, that's gonna be a crazy weekend. It's like that and Predators the same day.
There's one of those movies I'm going to see on the screen, and it's not Running Man, and I think I think Predator's going to kill Running Man.
Well, you also said like Predator Badlands. That's going to that what we'd say was like it's like a pipeline to Hulu or something.
Yeah, so you can really, if you wanted to, you can wait, but I just can't see Running Man remake. These remakes are not doing, not doing what they want them to do. So it's like. I don't see Running Man being, but it's a different it's a different take on it. So technically, it's not a remake, but we'll see how you'll see what his star power is. If he has the star power to carry it.
I mean, he got Twisters. Let's see how that did real quick. Twisters.
It did all right.
It did. Yeah, it did pretty good. Budget.
The tornado was the star of that, though. He's not carrying anything in that movie.
Well, yeah, but also, I mean, I think people do.
You ain't coming to see. Oh, is Glenn Powell in this?
Well,
no, hell, I gotta get.
But they did sell that a lot on him as like the guy with the cowboy hat who's like, I'm going to last.
But if it was just a guy in a cowboy hat with no tornado, then the theater's going to be empty.
He was like they emphasized him in the marketing more than they did like Helen Hunt and Bill Paxton in the original.
It's the disaster sold the movie.
Well, anyway, he was budget was 155. The box office is 372.3. So that did pretty good. Especially for like a.
Yeah, but as a leading man, the only thing I've seen him as a leading man, he wasn't the leading star as Sydney Sweeney. Mm-hmm. I didn't see him in that, but that movie made money. But people are going to see her. She's an A-lister.
Well, and he also, I mean, it's an ensemble. But of course, Top Gun Maverick. He was that definitely. Well, that was his breakout. And that was 1.5 billion. So
yeah, I think there was a different guy they might have been going to that movie.
Well, yeah, but that's why I said it's his breakout.
Tom Cruise, maybe.
But yeah, 372 for like a sequel for like 28 years later. That's pretty good. That's pretty good. What did the original do? Let me look at that real quick. Original did 499.2. So yeah. You underperformed the original, but also it's coming 28 years later. None of the original cast.
What are you talking about?
Twister to Twisters in terms of like box office. So did underperform it, but also it's like it's coming 28 years later with none of the original cast, and it's again it's the tornado.
That movie surprised me.
Yeah. So yeah,
I didn't see it because I don't do disaster movies.
Moral of the story is Glenn Powell would probably make an awesome Flash Gordon.
And then they would probably need a director that would be able to make it. To be honest with you, because there's only about 3 or 4 people out there that could probably make it and not bomb. But to answer short answer to your question, yeah, I could see this being done in 2025, 2026, 2027.
You know, I mean, definitely with better effects.
I mean, anything you see in 1980 is gonna. And
I
Star
get it. I
Star
get.
Wars' effects look bad if you
I
if you
get it.
match them
I
up
get it.
now.
You gotta cut the slack for the time, but still, it's like I think even by the standards of the early '80s, the effects are kind of cheesy.
This is top notch for this type of movie, a fantasy movie like this. Go look at Conan. Conan was 2 years later, and it was
Well,
it was a lot of
Conan's
the
not
same
flying
thing.
through space though.
Yeah, but that's you just named why this was not easy to do back in 1980. Look at Superman. All of the Superman movies in that era had bad effects.
Yeah.
You
Yeah.
can
No.
see the strings.
No. You know the one. You know the one that has the best. Where the flying scenes have held up the best is Supergirl. Actually, that's out of all those, the one with the flying scenes that have held up the best is actually, ironically, Supergirl. I don't know. I think Superman 2, out of all of them, like in totality, is definitely the one that's aged the best.
Not really. You could literally see they didn't care that you saw the strings. I mean,
I'm talking about.
where Zod throws a wall at him, and you could see the nylon.
I'm not talking about just effects. I'm
wiring.
talking about just in its into like the whole package. It's the one that's held up the best.
No. It's I love that movie with all my heart, but man, that movie is frozen in 1980. That movie is frozen in 1980.
No, the one that's and this is why it's just so frustrating. Like the hang up on Christopher Reeve is like 78 is like it is crazy dated.
Yeah, but both of them are. They were a lot of that stuff was filmed at the same time, so it looks like it's in a different time, different place.
And then Quest for Peace, of course.
Yeah. That was a joke.
I still maintain like somebody live action. James Gunn might be the guy. It's like give Nuclear Man his live action. It's like he just had a bad script. He had bad effects, but he's a good concept. Just give him.
No, he wasn't.
He made it in the comics.
So what? The comics are littered with stupid shit.
I actually did one when Superman and Lois was on when I was at Screen Rant. I said, they should. I think we're in the middle of season 2 at the time, and I said they should find a way to like make Nuclear Man like a villain on the show.
Jesus.
I could have seen.
Why not? They misused Bizarro. Why not misuse Hero?
That show would have done an amazing Nuclear Man.
They didn't do an amazing job with Doomsday or Bizarro. So how are you going to give them a character?
Nuclear Man.
How are you going to? Yeah, okay. That would have been their third strike.
William doesn't want to admit he likes the show as much as I do.
No, I don't have to admit shit. So I tell you exactly what I mean.
Do you like if they did like a modern Flash Gordon? Do you think because with Highlander, Chad Stahelski said that they are going to be keeping the Princess of the Universe, they're going to be the Queen theme. Do you think that they would retain the Queen theme song for like a modern Flash Gordon?
Yeah, they probably would remix it, but it would still be Freddie Mercury and Brian May.
Well, because like with Highlander, I mean that literally is the theme of Highlander is Princess of the Universe. So it's a lot harder to divorce any kind of modernized Highlander.
I would say the same thing for Flash Gordon too as well, especially the opening song.
Aztec, I think, is Austin Butler. Flash Gordon.
Yeah, I could see it.
He was good. Yeah. He was pretty good.
But you got to realize, though, you never want to use somebody's previous work to determine whether they could do future work, because that's literally what they are paid to do. They are paid to become someone else other than the person you know them as. So, so I couldn't say no to Austin Butler. He's the Academy Award level actor. He's a big timer. But yeah, they would probably want a big draw to mitigate the risk of doing a movie like this.
Oh wow! There was a 1936 serial of Flash Gordon.
Yeah, Buster Crabbe. Yeah. I actually have that here. Hold on.
Ha, 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 ha. Take them out.
See? There's a bunch of these.
Hmm.
This is just one. Alpha video. There you go.
Oh wow.
You can get them on like they're public for the most part. They're public domain, so you can get them anywhere.
By the way, a little bit of news we'll probably go into on the main show. Michael Douglas has officially retired.
I thought he had
Today,
already. Yeah, I thought he had already retired. Him and
well,
Evangeline.
this is his statement. I have not worked since 2022 purposefully because I realized I had to stop. I had been working pretty hard for almost 60 years, and I did not want to become one of those people who drop dead on the set. I have no real intentions of going back. I say I'm not retired because if something special came up, I'd go back, but otherwise, no. He's 80, so you know, do what you gotta do.
Yes, just like this movie you're watching.
Well, this movie's, I mean, the movie's about 45, so.
It came out in the 80s.
What a dirty old man. Looks like they spent most of their budget making the set.
Yeah, probably.
It certainly was on the dialogue, that's for sure.
Here we go.
See, Aaron, those sounds that they made when they pushed the buttons, those were
Yeah.
from a touch tone telephone we had back in the day.
Oh.
Does it release telephone sound effects? God, man. Yeah, what you got to do makes sense. Well, I got sound effects trivia for you that that Aaron and Brad are probably bigger fans of. You know how they made the sound effects of like hits landing and Enter the Dragon? They would snap chicken bones like up close to a microphone. So like when Bruce Lee kicks somebody in the face and it sounds like, man, that guy just got like his face split open. That's why, because they snap chicken bones really close to a
Oh.
microphone.
What is that? Yeah, you're echoing, Aaron. Let me mute you for a second. There you go.
So I'm gonna look up like what the director has done. Mike Hodges. Okay, so he did the original Get Carter in '71, did Pulp, Terminal Man. We did the second Omen. He did Damien Omen 2. The first one I really love. They kind of go downhill after the first one for me, but into Flash Gordon, Morons from Outer Space, Prayer from the Dying, Black Rainbow, Croupier, and I'll Sleep When I'm Dead. And I guess he's retired. Oh no, he died a couple of years ago.
So you would say he did the ultimate retirement.
Yeah. It's one way to put it. By the way, also William, since we did the Ace Ventura watch party earlier, something else I did a feature on a couple months ago on comic book. It was. Did you see that?
Let me get my X. Let me get the X ready because you're about
Did you
to
see
say
that one?
something.
Like fan video or fan art, or it's like Jim Carrey in Star Wars. I use a lot of Ace Ventura in it.
Next.
Oh, that thing is hilarious, man! You got to watch it.
Yeah, it sounds like a barrel of monkeys.
And they use the soundtrack that used a Hair of the Dog from Nazareth.
You know, Brad, since William did watch Ace Ventura, you have to come up with your part of
No,
the
I'm
deal
not
with
watching
Superman.
Scary Movie 7.
Did I say that?
You were going to, clearly.
No, I wasn't. I was going to say you have to come up with your stupid offer with Superman that I have no idea it was about because I ignored it.
Wait, what's stupid
And
offer?
he's never going to do it, so.
No, that was my offer. It's like,
Give Superman a fair shot, which we already know you're not going to.
But I don't have to do that anyway because William said no. We're not watching Ace Ventura on that criteria. We're watching it on whether or not he gets partial funding for Comic-Con. So we got that. So I could be as unfair as I want to Superman now.
You were never going to be fair to begin with, so it doesn't matter.
I'm going to see it. I'm going to for the duration of it. Like, here's a new Superman movie. Let's see what it's got. Sure. And whatever verdict I reach on that, it's like I'm not gonna sugarcoat it for anybody who wants to who's anticipating one way or the other. If I love it, I'm gonna say so. If I hate it, I'm gonna say so. Anything in between, I'm gonna say so. Then when I'm done with it, I'm gonna write back to saying let's get the rest of the Snyderverse done. Ain't mutually exclusive.
Yeah, that last one's gonna go nowhere. But hey,
Well, you're
Here, let me spoil it for you, Brad. The good guys win. There, you know.
I mean,
what
William, you're
happened.
the one who says James Gunn's the best, shot at that.
I still don't see it happening anytime soon, even if it does happen, because there's too much stuff in between. You probably got a while to wait. The situation's just not right now.
Well, I'll tell you this: I'm going to hold his feet to the fire on the whole thing about him telling David Ayer, "Okay, I got to get some wins on the board before I can put your cut of Suicide Squad out there." Okay, you get your wins on the board.
I don't need that though. What? Why? I can't even think of a business reason, even with wins on the board.
Well, that's what he told him. It's per David Ayer.
Yeah. I don't need to see all these fucking cuts. All right. I don't need to see everybody.
I don't find that in any way unreasonable. It's like if you said if that's what he was told, I need to get some wins on the board. But
so what? He can say, you know what he can do? He can change his fucking mind and say, you know what? I changed my mind.
And then I can change my mind and go back to being unfair in the most harsh way possible on everything he has coming up.
You never changed your mind to revert from that.
The hell I didn't. I said I'm gonna be fair. What is this? Have you ever once seen me tweet James Gunn should be fired?
That doesn't mean you're going to give this movie a fair shot. You're dealing with ghosts, Brad.
The hell
I am? The ghosts
am?
are in your head. The ghosts are in your head.
The fuck I am dealing with ghosts.
They got a sofa pulled up there.
The buck stops with him. You're the one who said like
this
Superman will not proceed. This one will. I will hold my own standard of fairness, and that's what it is.
You're
at the option of the customer.
You're not giving him a special shot. I didn't say you had to do one thing one way or another. I'm just being like, seriously, when you say you're giving a fair shot, that makes me
I'm going to go in for 2 hours. I'm going to be concerned only with the Superman movie. And then when I exit, I'll give my opinion on it, good, bad, or whatever. And that'll be that. Trust me, if you wanted to see Brad being unfair to James Gunn's Superman, you would see Brad. There would be no ambiguity.
Man, this movie never really made his career. He didn't really do anything big after this.
Yeah, no, like didn't have like a big breakout. Yeah. And again, it's like I would be fair. As fair, as fair as you can be. I mean, God knows no amount of fairness I put out was going to be good enough for Donovan, but
why are we even bringing him up on the stream? I don't even think he's even in the chat. Why? See what I mean about Winfrey?
He's going to be probably tweeting about it.
You're letting some guy who's not even on our stream or in our chat.
If I gave it a 9 out of 10, he would say it's like it's not.
So why are we bringing up a guy? He is a non-factor on our stream.
Because
you made him one.
You're telling me I'm not being fair. I know.
Why do you care what other people say, Brad?
It's not a matter of caring. It's like you guys said Brad's not going to be fair. I told you this is my standard of fairness, and I don't see it as any way unreasonable.
Flash Gordon, awesome. You guys excited? I don't know if excited is the word. I'm open to it. I'm open to having fun with it in about 24 hours. Actually, 24 hours from now, I will be 41 minutes into it.
And actually, I think it's the first time I've seen Eddie Sevier or Sevier.
I think he might have been here before because I think I tried to.
First time I've seen him. And actually, would we, with his avatar there, do you think we'll ever get like a Mighty Mouse future anytime soon? Here I come to save the day.
I don't. We don't need Brad karaoke. Or the accents.
You know who would do really well with that? Jim Carrey. He's already shown he could do Mighty Mouse pretty well.
That's just because he was copying Andy Kaufman. So.
Well, not just that. In Liar Liar, here she comes to wreck the day.
And it's guys like you that I think fuel the career that he had instead of the one that he could have had.
Oh, and I'm sure he's crying himself to sleep every night in his $100
Not
million
crying, but I'm
bed.
wondering if he has any regrets.
I fueled his career downturn because I had the nerve to find him funny. Anthony says, William, honestly, I don't think if they remake Flash Gordon, it will ever be successful because, in general, a remake is never as successful as the original because the original was a product at that point in time in filmmaking.
Flash Gordon was not, then you would have never gotten Flash Gordon. Flash Gordon was a product of the 30s. So by that mention, you would never have this movie at all. You wouldn't remake this movie. I mean, you would probably
do a new Flash Gordon. Yeah.
No director's gonna want to do that, and you would never be able to hire a director that would want to do something, in this vision. They may do something similar to it. They may even use a soundtrack. But as far as that kind of remake, you're talking about something that's 45 years removed. This movie was a product of its time, but a Flash Gordon doesn't have to be a remake. You can just make a new Flash Gordon movie. Because you're right, it's not the 80s, but a new Flash. There's a lot. Like I said, if you can do Dune in the 2020s, you can do Flash Gordon in the 2020s. So.
Mighty Mouse needs to come back for sure. Wonder if any big movie.
I don't. You never say never, but I don't see.
Not David Zaslav, that's for damn sure.
Yeah, especially if you're talking about animation. I don't see. Let's Pixar or somebody bought the rights to do it.
Well, yeah, it would be animated anyway because it's a mouse that talks. So,
dude,
or CGI something. Yeah,
they look at what they're doing with the cartoons today. They're making live action versions of all of them, so it could be.
Well, it's also fun to watch the videos of parents showing their kids The Empire Strikes Back when Darth Vader makes his big reveal, and they're like,
See, most of the kids though have grown up watching episodes 1, 2, 3, 4. They watch them in order, so by the time they get to Empire Strikes Back, they already know, which is weird, given we saw episode 4 first as kids. Oop, I hear a woodpecker.
Oh.
I could do Chris Pratt as mouse. Bradley Cooper played him.
Aren't you might be Vin Diesel? He's pretty good at playing monosyllabic. Little forest creatures.
Well, Mighty Mouse spoke.
I am mouse.
Mighty Mouse has a
I am mouse.
Mighty Mouse has a full vocabulary. Groot just said, "I am Groot."
Did you see that? What did you think of that stage announcement he did about the Fast and Furious finale the other day?
I didn't see it.
Film Junkie was talking about it. So he said something. I have 3 conditions. It's got to go back to LA, got to go back to car culture, and we got to reunite Brian and Dom. This series is such a cartoon now.
Oh, I did see that. I heard about the Brian and Dom. Well, he got his brother that'll play him.
Yeah, they might. Looking back in hindsight, it's like they really should have ended the proper series with 7, and then they could have kept it going with Hobbs and Shaw, with spinoffs, things like that. Because this series is it's. I mean, they might as well they might as well do a full Flash Gordon, take the whole thing to space.
sticking those hands in those things, that freaked me out as a kid.
Yeah, I know. Same here. This was the coolest scene right here. Just the whole clouds, the way they did this.
I like how they utilize cartoon effects.
If I remember right, the guy who's playing Hawkman, he climbed Mount Everest without oxygen.
Came down nearly dead. I asked him, "Why did you go up there to die?" I didn't. I went there to live. I lost.
Brian Blessed. Still kicking at 88, by the way.
I have to say this is a very hyper masculine movie.
Yeah, it's true. Eddie says it's a shame this never got a sequel. I love that. Yeah, because I was actually just about to ask William about that because, like you said, like it did, it did respectable business for its time and certainly for being only released like theatrically in 2 territories. So I mean, why didn't it like get anything further?
Not a lot of sequels till Spielberg and Lucasfilms really started pushing, making an environment for them. Look at a lot of the movies in the '80s. It was if it was a horror movie or if it was Indiana Jones or Star Wars, everything else is kind of weird. They made them to be big epics, and that was it. By the mid '80s, though, that had changed. I mean, if you didn't get a sequel, it was just everything had a sequel. By 1986, everything had a sequel. But the early '80s was a little bit different.
This is something that you would see at Squid Game.
This was cheesy. His eyes popping out like that was kind of lame.
There's a lot of these practical scenes reused over and over again.
The actor who played him is no longer alive. No, Max von Sydow passed away. Maybe. You have this tiny disembodied head in this big sea of black.
She brought the katana on today too, or this body. Can you make it out when it spins when I do that, William?
What's that?
Like my nunchuck. Let me see. I think I have just enough room. I could do a wrist roll here.
But with less movement, I can do that.
Yeah. Right there. Yeah, I have just enough room. I can do that. That's called a wrist roll.
Okay, great.
Nunchucks.
Wonderful. Awesome.
Now, Aaron, you got to get out your katana and you got to show us like how to cut a man's head off on camera.
I think Aaron's smart enough not to wield a katana in enclosed space.
You know
I
what
could
you're
be
doing.
wrong, though.
I need a slightly bigger space than a swing. A swing.
Yeah. Again, I have just enough room here to pull off, and this is called wrist roll. What I do here. So
if you whack yourself in the head, I'm going to clip that.
Oh no! No, I didn't really hit myself. It looks so blurry when I spin them, but yeah. That's called
Because you're doing it so quick that the eye can't catch it.
Well, I mean, you can't. Yeah, I mean, you do have to do it like you have to slow it down from like if you're like going like up down
All right.
like this.
Well, why are we doing this?
Because Flash Gordon can't use nunchucks, can he? So, but yeah, once he starts spinning, it's just this red and silver blur on camera. But I thought I'd try it. Like, I have enough room from the computer to my chair.
Hell, most of the time, Flash Gordon doesn't do anything other than live.
Oh my god, a bloody pillow fight.
It is the 80s. You know?
Late 70s, early 80s. Welcome to it, Aaron.
Viagra.
Yeah, because I've never seen Flash Gordon here. I remember him in in the Ted movies, where they show clips of it. Because I don't think I've seen the Ted movies.
Who? Oh, he's talking about Sam Jones. And I actually have a TED thing where they mocked up Flash Gordon. I'll show you. It's from when the DVD was released. They put Flash Gordon and Ted on the same DVD. He's autographed it right there. There's Ted, and then there's him looking at the poster from Flash Gordon. That's autographed. And then when he was in Stargate SG-1.
Tell me you have signed Rocky boxing gloves for Stallone.
What's that?
Eddie's saying, please tell me you have signed Rocky boxing gloves for Stallone.
Nah. I know someone who does, though, but I don't. I have signed wrestling belts.
No, we are not doing this, Chappie.
Queen
not
makes
for
this
free.
battle fun.
No, we're not doing this. Basic Instinct creeps me the hell out.
No. I mean, certain things I get signed, from things that like I grew up with, like Flash Gordon's a big part. That's one of the first movies I ever saw in a theater. So I've always loved that movie. And I love Queen, so I got that signed. I got more, comic books obviously, and I got some of those signed. I don't have as many as I had. The main thing I get signed right now are my wrestling belts. I have Ric Flair's big gold belt. I got that signed. If I got that in pictures. Yeah, I got that signed by Ric Flair. I got that signed by Okada, Jay White. So I get those kind of things signed. But yeah, no, not too big in the movie memorabilia. Opportunist, more like it.
Sorry, is that white lady trying to become like Asian? The way she speaks?
Who?
That white lady in the all the black, wearing all black. She's like she's like speaking like she's Asian.
It's a deep European accent of somewhere.
Damn. This movie gets a lot of romance and done in the.
She's an amazing shot just to hit the handcuffs.
Ornelia Muti, she's an Italian actress. So that's where you get
Oh,
accent from. Yeah, she was born in Rome. To a Russian, Baltic, German. So she's got a lot of different languages, and she probably has a lot of different learning. She's probably her accent is probably a hybrid of a lot of different languages she grew up with. Brian Blessed had so much fun making this movie.
It almost killed him.
Yeah, and he was laughing all the way. He's just like this.
His wings, which weighed 40 pounds, landed on him when one of his strings snapped while he was flying. Because Ming has the Earth Wedding March song. You're needed on the ground, even though you're a flying thing.
Wow, Sam Jones is a martial artist. He did Taekwondo.
Yeah, yeah. He's also Marines too. He's in the Marines.
Yeah, he's a Marine.
72.
Yep, he is definitely a Marine.
I love kicking the stand for absolutely no reason whatsoever. Who knew you can control a spaceship with flexible pipe?
Oh, shit. Right through him, like a shish kebab.
After this movie ends, the with the credits, the song on it, it's really, really good. Baron is the rightful heir, even though all my Hawkmen died to give it to him.
There you go. Flash Gordon. A great rebound to the dreadful afternoon we had with Ace Ventura. Hope you guys who were subjected to that forgave us enough to come back and watch a real movie.
Look, there was even an opening for a sequel right there.
Yeah, I mean, you just never got one. Thank you, Eddie. Nice to meet you. All right, and that was Flash Gordon. All right, well, I'm going to wrap it up because it's about an hour and a half. We're going to go live with the standard Sunday night show. I got some stuff to do in between, and I will see you all then. Everybody say goodbye. I don't know where Brad is.
I don't know.